Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So daily bounces are underway. The crypto bulls led the way last night and the broader market followed today. There were some clues initially that we could be looking at that gave a little bit of a bull lean as we battled first thing. I'll show you what those are. We have tons of oil volatility, some uranium news, lots of action. So we can see the daily bounces underway, and most names were scouting for daily lower highs, with the bulls having proving to do. They have proving to do. And the bounce right now, while it's nice off the low, just reminding myself it does not compare to the bounce that we just saw that then faded. So bulls are attempting to form a bottom. They held our fear lows. Those are wins for the bulls in the short term, absolutely. But it's just a constant reminder, we have more proving to do. So if we look at the low here on the buy the news bounce, on the initial move in 2 days, the S&P 500 SPY went up 6.6%. And on this 2-day bounce, we're at almost half of that, a little bit more than half of that. Anything under 441.11 is just a daily lower high. So there are a couple scenarios of what's going to take place. We're either going to keep bouncing, we need increasing bull volume, and we break daily resistance. We then have tons of space for a daily higher low to try and form from there. Scenario 2, we set a daily lower high and we come back down to try and find one more higher low and then change the daily trend to break resistances. And scenario number 3, we just roll over into a fresh lower low. For me, the most probable scenario is watching for a bit more bounce follow through, scouting a daily lower high, and seeing what the pullback looks like from there. The hourly uptrend is our guide. So right now, if we look at yesterday's trading, it lacks clarity. I find a lot more clarity on different time frames. I was watching today candles that close on the half hour. Fidelity has candles that close on the half hour, and I don't have it pulled up right now, but it's just a lot more clear because the candles that closed on the half hour, this was a straight bounce, a straight pullback. There was no upper wick here. And then we had the higher open, little pullback, and bull move. So with where we stand right now, on SPY, we've got support of 426.29 for a little bit of a bull flag. And it's the hourly uptrend. That's our guide. Because when we lose the hourly uptrend, the daily lower high is likely shaping up. So nice bounce, followed through, and proving it still needed. But the bulls at least have something to work with. They have confidence in the sense that, okay, we held support. We got a daily bounce going. Is this the bottom? Let's see how much money comes back into the market, playing off these lows and looking for this shift to take place. QQQ, very similar, held the low. It is a double bottom. Anything under 350 is just a lower high. So again, looking where we came from, we just bounced from 320. And at this point, we've seen a $16 bounce and we're halfway there. We need to get over 350. If we don't, it's just a daily lower high. Bull volume is not impressive. I don't really pay that much attention to bull volume on ETFs. And I learned that lesson for years and years. Just how is the market continuing to push up like this with such low bull volume on these ETFs? And so I learned they don't need bull volume. Bears need volume. Bulls don't need volume. In this different market environment, maybe it's different. I'm observing and I'm making mental notes. But for me, I'm not looking at that and saying that it's a weak bounce because of the volume. I'm just sticking with price action. So for QQQ, anything under 350 is just a lower high. If we top out before that level, the bulls have to hold the lows, confirm the trend change. I was staring at QQQ this morning and we were watching high of resistance tests. And one thing that helped me get a bull lean this morning while I was live streaming was, okay, we're opening. Everybody's opening just under high of yesterday resistances. We know we must break the high of yesterday resistances to confirm hourly trend changes and confirm daily bounces are underway. So, okay, bears know what they're doing. Bears are top fishing high of yesterday resistance. How many days have we seen bears control the morning? The answer is the majority of the last week, the bears control the morning, and the play has been short the morning. And more specifically, the play has been short when the bulls control overnight and we open higher from the futures market and then we just dump all day. So we know that the market knows that that is what has been happening. So as we see that clear resistance, we initially reject. And as soon as QQQ rejects and sees a new low of the day here, we say, okay, we're rejecting from resistance, but we know we're scouting an hourly high or low because there's a lot of space above the low from the previous day where we ended the day. And so the question then is it going to be an hourly equilibrium or can the bulls form an hourly bull flag? And so from there, I zoomed into the 30-minute time frame or zoomed out. And for me, it was a bit of a cup and handle psychology. And again, cup and handles are way overused. They're not a common pattern, and people talk about them all the time. They're a continuation pattern. And this was not a continuation scenario. This was a reversal scenario. So for me, what matters with the psychology of a cup and handle is a resistance level that everybody's looking at. You consolidate, you fail to break resistance, and then you bull flag and break both levels. So whether you want to call it a cup and handle or not, doesn't matter to me. But the psychology was there. Resistance rejection into a bull flag. And it took a long time for these bulls to break resistance. We were just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. Just little higher lows getting towards that high of the previous day. And we finally broke it. But it got to a point where I was saying, after this bounce off the low of the day, everybody's watching the same resistance. Everybody knows the bears have been controlling the mornings. If we have not rolled over more convincingly yet at this point, that for me is a clear indication that bulls are keeping control. This is different. It should be easy. If it's going to be a bear morning, we should very easily and distinctly reject from resistance and see full bear control on the morning. So as soon as this 10-minute bounce happened, we know we still need to change a trend coming straight off the low, but once this slow grind started, that's when my lean on the morning went to the bulls because, again, the bears needed to prove it in the short term, and they weren't doing so in a scenario where everybody's watching the same resistance levels. So we got the bull breaks, grind up all day, and bulls are strong in the short term. Anything above the low of today is an hourly higher low. We got a pop here after hours. Amazon. Boom. They're giving some back. Good bit back. But Amazon news was stock split, 30 for 1, maybe. 20 for 1 stock split and 10 billion buyback stock. Amazon's been real weak. It was a lead bear the last 2 days. Didn't get the bounce going today. But now with this news, currently we're trading up around here. So still watching for the potential of a daily lower high. Essentially, this is Amazon now going from the back of the pack of the tech sector towards the front of the pack, depending on how this news is priced in once the bell rings and there's real volume in play. But that helped the NASDAQ a little bit after hours. Not much, just a little pop. Still under the high of the day at the moment. So can the bulls maintain the hourly uptrend? That is now what we're watching for the next 2 days left in the week. How long can the bulls maintain the hourly uptrend? Are we setting a daily lower high? Those are the 2 questions I approach every single day with. Semiconductors, daily bounce underway. We're getting falling wedges shaping up out there. The names that have broken bearish aren't following through. And we know whenever we get bear breaks without follow through, we scout falling wedges. This is a potential falling wedge. So a scenario could play out where, say, SMH fails to break daily resistance of 270.86. We reject from daily resistance. We come back down. We set a higher low. Then we get a bull break. So that's one scenario that I'm watching into next week for the market. And it'll be a nice lower risk bottom fishing play for swing bulls where they look to make an entry on daily consolidation. This goes for all sectors and individual names. Stop goes under the low of this week for the bulls to try the trend change. The bulls really want to see another green day to create that space for an eventual trend change attempt. We definitely need another move up for that space to be created. And the hourly, anything above the low of today is an hourly higher low. NIO is another falling wedge. I am now watching these wedges. I will play NIO for a swing trade attempting a 6-month higher low if that is a falling wedge that breaks bull. Anything under 23.35 is just a lower high. Massive green day today. We were up big time. Bulls really showed up. There's a ton of power on NIO in both directions. The volatility is just a trader's absolute dream. It's not surprising that, I forget what year, it was either 2020 or 2021, it was my most profitable ticker, just trading it in both directions. 30% move into a 10% pullback, into a 16% move, then we drop down 30%, then we bounce 26%, and then we pull back 25%. I mean, these moves, you look at the gold breakout, and I keep ragging on gold volatility. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of volatility, so they want a nice stable gold, but gold in the last 5 weeks went 15%. And to see NIO just do 15 to 30% in both directions multiple times in the last 6 weeks, there's just a ton of volatility here. So anything under 23.35 is a daily lower high. Watching the falling wedge, hourly, tons of space for a higher low, little bull flag into the close. I did put a little short on NIO, but exited it pretty much break even, uneventful trade. Scouting a daily lower high, anything under 23.35. Massive bounce day. We can go 10% tomorrow and still be looking for a daily lower high. So just keep that in mind, bigger picture. Solar sector, daily inside bar, some consolidation today. Bulls buying 5-minute oversold conditions first thing. Big flush down, and that marked the low of the day. So first 5-minute oversold, scouting. Was it an hourly high or low we were scouting? Yep, no clear hourly high or low yesterday. So 5-minute oversold, scouting the hourly high or low, confirmed a 5-minute trend change, and solid follow through. I mean, that's a 4% bounce. If the daily inside bar breaks bear, we scout a daily high or low. If it breaks bull after 77.73, we look at 78.86. So essentially, just holding those gains. And to see that 5-minute oversold bounce mark the hourly high or low is a good sign for bulls. Healthcare sector getting a daily bounce going. So we can say daily high or low, 127.47, and the bulls must break 132.64 to confirm the daily trend change. It will be notable if bulls can pull that off. Financial sector getting a bounce going, but anything under 38.43 is just a lower high. Upper wick of profit taking into the close with some hourly consolidation. Bulls must follow through. Daily EMA 12 has been resistance for 3 weeks at this point. We must see, in my opinion, another green day tomorrow if we're going to create space for a trend change attempt next week. IWM, daily high or low set. And again, was this our daily high or low? That's when I zoom out for smoothing it out. So on the 2-day time frame, low, high of the bounce, higher low attempt here must break 205.30 to confirm the reversal. And IWM is a good bit further above its low. This pullback on IWM was less significant than QQQ, than SMH, than a lot of other sectors. And it's not due to XLF, because XLF dropped to a clear lower low. It's due to growth. Growth has been holding on a bit better this week. ARC is not a good example. PLTR is a good example. Daily high or low, heading up towards resistance. We know Tesla has been trading well as far as a lack of significant retracement. Tesla's trying to break 890 to confirm the daily trend change. So keeping an eye on growth names. Biotech sector benefited today from a growth bounce. Double bottom in the 81s. Must break 91.36. And it's another falling wedge setup. Not as clean and clear as the other ones, but trying to shift momentum. Proving to be done on daily time frames for the bulls. Bears are scouting daily lower highs. The dollar had a big pullback. It's not a coincidence that crypto had a big green day, stocks had a big green day, dollar had a big red day. Inside bar bear break. The best case scenario for stock and crypto bulls regarding the dollar, in my opinion, is a 6-month lower high in this 5-year equilibrium. And we're not going to shape that up as long as we're in a daily uptrend, but this pullback is big enough for bulls to hope, or I should say for bears to hope, that when we find a higher low, that we result with a confirmed daily downtrend from there. Tons of space for a daily high or low. We are going to form a daily high or low, very, very likely, as a result of this pullback. It's just a question of where, and can the bears confirm a daily downtrend from there? Metals dropping today, so daily consolidation underway for gold. Back burner bounces. Gold hit hourly oversold, and that marked the bottom. Look at the miners. Well, we'll get there. Silver, this was the 4-hour rising wedge pattern that I was keeping an eye on from yesterday. And we broke through the support line, but look at all this support here. 25.29, 25.35, and we bounced off 25.40. So holding price levels of support, but a lot of space for a 4-hour lower high next bounce. It's a head and shoulders setup. All my lines are making me not see it. So silver 4-hour bounce from here would have us be watching for a potential head and shoulders. But miners had the setup. Big gap down, hourly oversold RSI. 15-minute RSI was down into the open. It was at the teens. 5-minute RSI into the open, dropped down, oversold. Oversold on all those 3 time frames, looking for an hourly backburner bounce, and it was a beauty. GDX, from the low to the high of the initial bounce, in just 2 hours of trading, goes 5%, meaning its leveraged ETFs go 14 to 15%. Nope, less significant. That's interesting. Did they change it to 2 times leveraged? It used to be 3 times. Got to double check that. It would appear so. 10% move, still worthwhile. And again, that move in miners in 2 hours is 2/3 of gold's 5-week move. Leveraged miners. It is 2 times. All right, they changed it. How long ago is that? I'm dating myself. Oil. So oil had news of Iraq says oil's fine, blah, 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 whatever. But it was a bearish reaction. We got plenty of oil. There's no big deal. So inside bar bear break, but really it's just aligning with the inverse relationship that we've been noting. Broader market bounce. Oil and metals have been inverse, and the dollar, and they all pull back with big red candles, big red drops. So oil is trying for an hourly bounce off daily EMA 12, but we're just looking for an hourly lower high to be the result of this bounce. And again, if I'm a broader market bull, I want to see silver confirm a 4-hour downtrend. I want to see the dollar see further red. I want to see oil see further red. The market bulls were getting a bit nervous with the price of oil running away here. So in my opinion, if oil has topped, and that's a big if because we don't have enough information right now, but if oil has topped, that will return confidence to the market, in my opinion. We were getting to a scenario there where, with short squeezes and nickel and all these crazy commodity movements, there was a lot of questions about margin calls and having to cover margin of shorts being liquidated and all that. So market bulls just want to see commodities return to a bit of normalcy, at least just trade within a range instead of exploding in wild ways. But oil is just looking for a daily high or low with tons of space for it to form. That being said, we are currently 20% under where we did top out 2 days ago. So what do we look for? With big volatility, we look for equilibriums. So we're going to scout a higher low. We'll then scout a lower high. And ranges will calm down a little bit. They'll tighten up. And then volatility will pick up again once they break. Uranium. So CCJ, bulls, big move following through. Look at the volume. And breaking a lot of nearby levels. And now it is all about the weekly of 28.49. And if you look back, if you cleared 28.49, that is the highest price in about 9 years. That's a long time. More than that. That's the highest price in 11 years. 28.68 is right behind it. There was news at the end of the day. And this is where I love the chat room community of the chart guys. Huge shout out to Red Devil and everybody that has been holding down the uranium chat room, because this is a sector that I don't have the time to put any effort into. I just don't have the time. And the efforts that's been put in by others to share knowledge and information has been insane on a daily basis. A gift. And so I come back, I was doing other things, not at the computer, right here. And I come back and sit at the computer right here, and I see a volume spike. I see CCJ starting to go nuts. And I go into the chat room, and I look, and I see someone has posted. Gian, thanks for posting. U.S. weighs sanction on Russia nuclear power. Move could impact nuclear power industry, uranium mining. And so the sector explodes. And so I see that, and rather than chasing, I buy 1 minute consolidation. So I enter CCJ at 26.36. I would have entered a second position if we dropped down another leg, but had a real good entry. And then on the bull move up, I exit a third of my position, just over 27. And now I can't lose because my break even at this point is something like 26.15. So we would have to completely fall apart, which is possible, but then I just stop out break even because giving that much of the move back would be a big red flag. So I hold it and we keep going. I sell a little bit more. And now my break even on the half position I have remaining is just over 26, maybe 26.09 or something. So I now have a swing position in uranium, hoping that these news headlines lead to a breakout of 28.49 and hoping it's uranium's time to shine further. Uranium's been doing great. It's been overshadowed by oil and metals. It's not really getting a whole lot of attention. And maybe these headlines, they certainly, the volume that came into the end of the day, look at this volume where you've got 11 million, we'll call it 10.6, 10.7 million shares traded after the news came out. So 10.6 million in less than an hour. And you look at the average daily volume, which is ramping up, and the average daily volume is still 9 million. So you put in over the 20-day average volume in the last 55 minutes of trading. And this is the kind of news reaction where it was sustainable. It held. You don't pump and then give it back. You pump and keep setting higher lows and higher highs, which shows you that solid follow through. So in a comfortable uranium swing position, we'll see if the bulls can keep me in it. There's a lot of volatility in these names in both directions. So swing sizes need to be a bit smaller, but appreciate the uranium room helping me make some money today, because without that information, I don't act. If I don't see that headline, I got to go digging for it on Twitter, and I just watch it. Trading is a team game. It is not an individual game. You can have a teammate sitting next to you, helping you. You can have 1,000 teammates around the world with 2,000, well, maybe we'll call it 1,998 eyes. Some people lost some eyes along the way. And that is extremely valuable. Team game. Keep that in your mind. Trading is a team game. There's nothing saying it can't be. My ideal, if I want to perform absolute execution, I have me giving technical analysis. I have someone sitting next to me who executes the trades. And just streamlining everything and having everybody with expertise in certain areas. Technical analysis expertise, a fundamentalist in there, someone who reads tape in there. Maybe people have different sectors that they are experts in, just in terms of knowing the tickers and the moves. And when you have that combined, it's like a team of superheroes. All right, I'm done ranting. Make sure and do good things. We'll talk about that here at the end. And I love you. Hey everyone, to Do Good Things check-in here, and I'm always torn when sharing stuff like this because I don't want to come off as egotistical, and I've definitely judged others who have used charity as advertising campaigns. But now that I'm a content creator over the last 7 years, after Do Good Things became our tag at TheChartGuys, I would get emails where people would say, hey, you inspired me to do this thing in my community, or we now live life a little bit differently, trying to do something good every single day for a stranger. And so it was clear that there was enough of a ripple effect from people being inspired that it is worth continuing to share things to continue that inspiration. So most recently I was going to go to see Fish in Mexico, and they're going to play 4 nights and you stay at a resort, and I booked everything. And then I started looking at the costs and it's like, really, am I going to spend this much a day to do this? And the way that my brain works, whenever I buy anything, it's what else can that money be used for? And so started thinking about that, and instead booked a different vacation for 2/3 of the cost and still had a great time. And I decided that I would donate the money that was saved from the exuberant vacation that I passed up on. And so I now have a friend who is in Guatemala, Sununa, Guatemala, and he is building a house for a family. And I saw on one of his posts, their next project is raising funds to give 150 kids in the village shoes because they don't have any. And I started doing the math when he said the cost of the shoes and the number of kids. That's pretty much exactly what we saved from not going on that vacation. So very grateful to be able to fund it. Grateful that he's there on the ground and I don't have to worry about a charity and administrative fees, how much money, is actually being seen by the people who need it. I know that he's going to put every single dollar into these shoes. So hopefully this inspires you all to do something in your community as well. And I'm looking forward to updating some videos and things like that along the way. He's going to have a big shoe party where he hands it all out to the kids in the village. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So I appreciate you all. Let's do good things and let's help each other out.